Test, 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 test. Testing 1 2. Can you guys hear my voice now again? This thing is really wacky. All right, cool. I switched microphones. This one should work. Thank goodness. Oh yes, my voice, my glorious voice, echoing through the airwaves. Pretty great. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. Test, test, test. Oh, that is low quality. Oh boy. Okay. Test, test. Hold on. If I hold this thing. Alright. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so hopefully this sounds okay. It's as good as it's gonna get. Test, 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 test. Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna call it good. I'm jumping right in. I've done all I can with audio at this point. I'm just gonna chill for a little bit. Alrighty. What's a good lobby to go to? We could go to, well, that race is just now starting. I'll hop in here, try to catch it at the last second. Oh, I really hope this... Okay, no, it's post-race in New Hampshire, thank goodness. I hate racing in New Hampshire in this game more than any other track in the world. Okay, good. Auto Club Speedway, that's a little better. I'll tell you now, I have not played this game in geez, how long has it been? 3 or 4 months at least. I don't know, I have no idea. I see also all your friend requests. I've been getting a ton of friend requests in the last couple of days on PlayStation. I see them, I'm just not reply. I don't always reply to them right away. But I'll reply to them eventually. I'll accept most of them. So, yeah, I guess while I'm chilling here, since, I don't know, during the race, I guess I won't be looking at questions too much. But if you have any questions to ask, just, are you kidding me? I lost connection? When's the last time that ever happened? Are you kidding me right now? This is going to be one of those days. If you have any questions to ask me, feel free to pop them in on the side of there. I feel like there's really no point in doing live streams if you can't interact with people at all. So, there's that. Although apparently this has totally died on me. I saw y'all ask if I'm ready for the Daytona 500. Of course I'm ready for the Daytona 500. I've been ready since Kenseth got taken out at Phoenix. I've basically been ready that since then. Alright, let me see, hold on. Let me restart. I've actually had like no internet troubles really since I played this game. Do I like this game? It's I like it alright. It's okay. It's I don't know. It's enjoyable. I mean, I like that it's on PS4. The online honestly works better than any other. I'm saying that as I say that, it's trashing me now. It's totally failing. I may just have to race against computers. Alright, that's fun. Those y'all asking if you can join, I don't know. You can. I don't know. Wow, these servers. I'm over here trying to talk good about the game, and the servers are just eating themselves inside out. This is a disaster. Oh well. I'll do a race. Anyway, back to whatever that question I got asked like 30 minutes ago. Yes, I'm ready for the Daytona 500. It'll be a good race. People asking me who I think will win the 2017 championship. It is way too early to tell. I would have probably told you Carl Edwards had one of the best shots. But, obviously that ain't gonna happen now. Let's see, maybe I should be Ben Kennedy. I haven't actually looked at all these drivers. Maybe I'll be Eric Jones for a race. I'll be Eric Jones for a race. Alright, let's see here. What track? That's true. I did like the EA games a lot. I liked the 2007 NASCAR game. That was probably my favorite. I don't know. 09. I didn't own 2009, but actually one of my friends did, and I remember playing that. And that was a fun game as well. I'm gonna try online again. The online has to work. The online has to work. This can't be. These servers can't be trash me. I gotta run Kenseth's DeWalt paint scheme, even though this is an old DeWalt scheme, because he's not. Dollar General's dropped him for this season. Oh, thank God it's working. Or at least it's pretending to work. It's pretending to work. Oh, thank goodness. Alright, let's see. I'll jump into this one. This looks like a pretty good lobby. We got 17, 18 people in here. 19 people. Alright, cool. Who do I think is going to win? Oh, that's true. NASCAR 2000. I see Tyler Johnson. NASCAR 2011. That was probably my favorite game, NASCAR game, out of all of them. I played that one a lot too. That was I think the first one I had for the PS3. That was like the first one that came out, I think, for the PS3 or one of them. And I played the heck out of that when I was like 14, 15. It's a great game. I'm not sure how long I'm going to be streaming. I don't know. I'm just in here. I was bored, and like I said a minute ago, I kind of just all of a sudden realized I could stream, and I thought, why not? You know, I've had a pretty low-key week. Not a lot of excitement going on, so I figured, I'll chill, sit back. Also, my roommate's not here at the moment. I don't know where he went. It's like 11 o'clock at night or whatever. It's 11:05 here in Texas, so hopefully he's not up at any mischief. But I think he just went to like go get like a late night snack or something. So when he comes back, this will be awkward, but I'm sure he won't mind. Yeah, the new Toyotas look pretty cool. I don't know. I feel like the Toyotas change. Oh my goodness, we're actually starting. The Toyotas have been changing their body, or like the chassis, you know, their car, kind of like, they've changed them like 3 or 4 times since the Gen 6 car got introduced. I think this is the 3rd change they've done now. Like they had the original when oh my jeez, the beginnings of these races are just ridiculous. There's people like spinning out completely that are still going full speed. I don't understand how that makes any sense. But yeah, anyway, well, thanks for that. The Toyotas look pretty cool this year, though. They almost look like Hot Wheels cars, or like little sport. They almost look like little spaceships, which is a little concerning. It takes a little bit of time to get used to, but my goodness, this person, they're They look good. Let me just end it there. Let me just cut it there.
You're all clear.
I liked when the Gen 6, well, before the Gen 6 cars came out, and it was the old, like, I guess Gen 5 cars. I thought the Toyotas looked ugly as heck, to be honest. None of the cars looked that good. Oh, woohoo! Sudden dust storm here in the middle. We are in Vegas, after all. Yes, that is the question. Will the Toyotas be as fast as they were last year? Because I think last year they were probably the class of the field at most racetracks. I mean, Carl Edwards, Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth, even Hamlin, they were all threats to win every week. And hopefully changing the body on them doesn't mess them up too bad. I'm honestly surprised there's this many of you guys that care enough to tune in. That makes me happy. I figured I'd just turn this thing on, and maybe a dozen or so people would jump in and jump back out. But thanks for sticking around, guys.
Here you go.
I've never played Dirt to Daytona. I never owned that game. I've heard good things about it, but I know it's an older game. It's not like super recent or anything like that, and I know it's by the same people that made this game, so that's why some people had high hopes for this game. But you know, thanks guys, thank you guys, I really appreciate it. I'm blushing here, you can't see it, but maybe you can hear it. Oh shoot, I looked down at my phone and I just clobbered the outside wall. That was a disaster. That was a train wreck right there. Honestly, my least favorite thing. What? Hey Casey, all right, you know you're going on the wall, Casey. If I can ever catch back up to you. NASCAR 15 I was not a big fan of. I wasn't really a big fan of NASCAR 15 or 14. I'll be honest. They were both just kind of, I don't know. NASCAR 2011, NASCAR the game 2011. I liked that one all right. And then Inside Line was good. It was solid, but oh, I edged him out at the last second. Sorry, guys. I just had to make sure I beat. What? What is this leaderboard says that I finished behind the Casey King guy? Are you kidding me right now? I was clearly like a half a car length ahead of him. Oh my goodness. Y'all saw I got robbed there. Y'all saw I got robbed there. I think Matt Kenseth will do great this year, Gav Panda. I think he'll be out for a vengeance because Carl's gone, because he got it taken away from him at the last second last season. I think he's gonna be back for vengeance this year. I mean, and if Biffle doesn't get a ride, I think Matt Kenseth will be the oldest full-time driver in the sport this year, so he's gonna have to teach the young kids a few lessons, like he did at Dover this last season. Thanks, Tyler Johnson. It is rigged. This game hates me. It doesn't even know me, and it hates me. Couldn't agree more. Suarez or Jones? That's a good question. I'm a bigger Eric Jones fan, just because I don't know. I guess he's been around a little, well, about the same amount of time as Daniel Suarez is. But I never really watched the truck races. But I know Jones won the championship in the truck series a couple years ago. He honestly came really close to winning the Xfinity Championship this year until Suarez got it. Suarez ran a great race at Homestead this last year. I honestly think Daniel Suarez will have the better season just because he's actually on Joe Gibbs Racing, whereas Eric Jones is at Furniture Row, and Furniture Row, this is their first year with 2 cars, so you never know. They might have a little catching up to do at the beginning. Which driver do I think will get their first win first? I think Chase Elliott's the safest bet there. I'm honestly kind of surprised he hasn't gotten a win yet. Anyways, I think he's probably the closest to getting it right now. NASCAR 2009, I didn't play it that much, but the little bit I did play, I did like. I think that was the last game EA Sports made, the last NASCAR game EA Sports made, but I don't know that for sure. Because I remember I think like 2009, 2010, one of those years or 2 of those years, there weren't any NASCAR games, and then until they picked back up in 2011 when Activision made them. What do I think about Truex? That's kind of a broad question. I've always liked Martin Truex Jr. I've always wanted him to do pretty well. I thought last year's season was one of his best. Well, I guess the last 2 years have kind of been his best, most consistent years. I think he'll be another threat this year. I think Clint Boyer, metallic, whatever. I couldn't read your name; it was too quick. Oh my God, Martinsville Speedway. I think Clint Boyer is going to have a breakthrough season. He finished, what was it, second or third? Oh yeah, like a drive-in movie theater out here. Boyer finished second or third. What was it, in 2012 when he was with MWR? I think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to make the Final Four or anything. He'd make it to Homestead, but I think he'll make the chase. Boyer will. And I hope he does. I hope Boyer. I felt bad that he had to drive for such a lousy team the last year or two. You know. Oh, I'm so bad at this track. Still better at this than I am at New Hampshire in this game, though. I don't know what I'm doing in New Hampshire. I think I know where the racing groove is, and then it just toys with me, and I can't do anything. 4 wide on the bottom. There we go.
Still there.
Ugh. Yeah. Just put my teammate in the wall. This is exciting. I saw one of you ask me a second ago if I still hate Joey Logano. I never really hated Joey Logano. I hated the way he drove for about a 3-week stretch, but I've actually always liked Joey Logano. I don't have a grudge. I don't think Kenseth has a grudge or anything like that. I think that's all water. At this point, that's all like a year and a half ago. Whoa, that was a narrow pass right there. I had him in 12th place. That's not as bad. Will Danica win a race? I think she will win a race one day, because I think she's only gotten better. I don't think she's really gotten worse. She has not made that big jump that everyone expects or everyone kind of wants her to do, and honestly she should have done by now. But that being said, she's not a terrible driver, and she's in decent equipment as long as she has sponsorship. Now the big thing that hurts her there is sponsorship. She lost GoDaddy, and I thought they'd be with her till the end. But honestly, I think GoDaddy, I don't know, business-wise, they must not be doing well. I don't see GoDaddy ads anywhere. We probably won't even have a Super Bowl ad this year for GoDaddy. I doubt we will. As long as Danica has a solid car and sponsors, I think she will. I think there's a good chance she'll win a race one day. I hope she does. That'll be a hilarious day for NASCAR. There'll be some exciting people.
Clear high. Carlo.
If I could get through 1 or 2 turns without any contact from either the wall or one of these mini Kyle Busch cars, it'll be a happy day. And it might be this turn right here. Oh, here we go. Oh,
That was a great lap. Still there. All clear.
I don't mean to be ignoring you, Browning Cup Series. I'm sorry. I'm in the middle of it. When I'm in the race, I'm just kind of glancing at all these comments. I haven't really been looking at everyone who writes them in. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ignore you.
Turn 3.
I don't know if Stewart Haas is going to be better in Fords. I think they're going to struggle just a tiny bit this year. Like, they're not going to struggle. I think they'll still have. I think Harvick will make the chase. Kurt Busch will probably still make the chase. And like I said, I think Boyer has a very good shot at making the chase, but I don't think they're going to be quite as dominant. At least not at first as they were this year. Mainly because switching all the way to Ford, I don't know. That's probably. I have the feeling that's got to be a pretty big adjustment. No, that one. I'm not going to say that one was rigged. I earned a 12th place finish there. I was pretty terrible. I'm okay that Tony Stewart retired. I think he had a good career. He won 3 championships. The only thing he never did was win a Daytona 500, but, you know, I think that Daytona 500 wins are somewhat overrated. I think Tony Stewart, I don't know, the last couple of years, Stewart's really been a letdown in a lot of sense. Like, I mean that in the best way, but he just, whether it be a bit of him, the team itself, they have been no bueno the last 2 years, so I think it was about time for him to retire. I think it's the same thing with Greg Biffle. That's why I don't know if Biffle he keeps acting like, I don't think he doesn't have a ride lined up for next year, so I wouldn't be surprised if he retires as well. Did I answer who I think will win the Daytona 500 yet? I don't think I've answered that yet. If I had to bet, I think it's going to be Dale Earnhardt Jr. out of everybody. Who's going to win the Daytona 500? It's the Daytona 500. How can you, like, really pick anyone? Especially now, we haven't even, like, there's hardly even been any testing yet. I think Dale Jr. is just going to come back and he's just going to, I think he's just going to show up out of nowhere. Everyone's going to be like, oh, that's right, I forgot you raced in this series. He's going to come back fully rested, and he's always good at Daytona, so. That's a good question. Who Rookie of the Year will be this year? I talked briefly earlier about Suarez and Jones. They're both, you know, probably the top 2 leading contenders. Are there any other major, like, significant rookies this year? I think Jones and Suarez are probably. Are they the only 2 like rookies that are in good cars next year? I may be totally forgetting. I may be totally blanking on another one. But between Suarez and Jones, I think Suarez has this. I think honestly, I think Eric Jones is a slightly more talented driver. I'll be honest. I think he has more potential to be good in his career. But right now, I think this season. Oh, Ty Dillon. Okay, thank you guys. I forgot Ty Dillon's got a ride this year. I still think it's going to come down primarily to Suarez and Jones, just because one's at Joe Gibbs Racing, one's at Furniture Row, and both those teams have been great. But if I had to pick between the 2, I honestly think Suarez has a better chance this year, just because he's in Carl Edwards' car, the car that almost pretty much should have won the championship last year, if not for that last restart. So, you know. And like I said earlier, Eric Jones is in a car, is at Furniture Row Racing, and this is their first year with 2 cars, so they might have a little bit of a learning curve at the start of the season. They might have to take some pressure. Why is everyone moving to the bottom lane? Guys, get out of my lane! Get out of my lane! Give me some clear. This is Jimmy Johnson right here. Just. Oh no! Oh, everyone go! Pedal to the metal! Pedal to the metal! Oh my gosh! I just got tag teamed by all of Hendrick Motorsports right there. That was a beautiful start to this race. Wow, just got a little boost. Alright, let's see. That was a ridiculous start of the race. Alright, I don't remember. You can floor it all the way around. Oh! That was really close to being a horrible disaster. Oh my goodness. As it is, I'm still going to get past, but. Oh man! The pros and cons of doing online in this game. It's rough, to say the least. That's not when you asked when my birthday is. My birthday is November 18th, so a couple of, you know, it's past. I'm 19 years old, for those of you who don't know. I don't know if I've ever actually made public what my exact... What even just happened? What even just happened? Anyway, I don't think I've ever made it public what my actual, like, birthday/age is. When I first started on YouTube, and I was like 14, 15, I was kind of like, you know, I didn't want to talk to strangers, you know, stranger danger. I was like, oh, I'm just a 14-year-old kid, just minding my own business on my own little corner of the internet, don't touch me. But, yeah, now I'm 19 years old, and my birthday is November 18th, so, yes, thank you for the happy late birthday. It's only, like, what, 2 months late? That's not that big a deal. You could say you're 10 months early, so that's not too bad. Toyota Cup Series, I would... Honestly, although they obviously couldn't probably complete the game if they started now, I would rather just a completely new game than just, you know, new cars and DLC for this one. Because this game, I played it a decent amount when it first came out, just because I didn't really have any other racing games, and it was decent at the time. I mean, it was fun. It's like a novelty. It's like, oh, it's kind of fun for a while, but if you're really into racing games or even NASCAR, it's just kind of, I don't know, it gets tiring. Oh, the sponsor change from Sprint to Monster Energy. Yeah, I was gonna address that in a video, and I probably still will at some point. But the introduction now of the new NASCAR logo, along with Monster Energy as the title sponsor. I mean, Monster being the sponsor is cool and all. I don't really drink energy drinks that often, but you know, Monster Energy is a cool company. At least it's not the GoDaddy Cup Series or something like that. That'd be pretty awkward. But Monster Energy, it's okay. My problem is that they named it the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. That's like 20 syllables Okay, it's not 20. It's like what? I don't know how many it is. It feels like it's like 20. It's like the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. But I mean, you think about it. It was the Nextel Cup Series, the Sprint Cup Series. That's what, like 4 syllables. Sprint Cup Series. It's just so quick to say, you know. Monster Energy NASCAR. Like, why do we even have to put the word NASCAR in there? Like, why can't we just call it the Monster Energy Cup Series? Why can't we just call it the Monster Cup Series? Like, that sounds cool. I mean, just instead of having to say this huge mouthful or whatever with these weird acronyms, just say, oh, it's the Monster Cup Series. I mean, just, why can't we do that? I mean, I think at this point everyone knows what, especially if you put the little green M, like, logo there, you know, like, almost everyone knows what Monster Energy looks like. Everyone knows, like, you know, that the marketing-wise, you don't have to put the energy word in there. So just call it the Monster Cup Series. It'll sound cool. And you might even attract some, like, Monster Jam fans or Monster Truck fans, you know? I mean, I'm sure there's a pretty good amount of, like, Monster Truck fans that also like NASCAR, but, you know, if there's not, you can even advertise the races, like, Sunday, Daytona 500, and then the Monster Cup Series. And boom, you would attract maybe a few dozen more fans. I'm not going to the Clash of Daytona. I don't have any races that I'm planning to go to this year at the moment. I usually go to like 1 or 2 races a year, maybe at least one. I mean, how many did I go to? Last year I went to the Sprint Unlimited, just because I happened to be in Florida at the right time. And then I went to the Texas race in November. Excuse me. I mean, there's a good chance I'll go to a Texas race this year. They're reconfiguring part of it, so it's not a. So it might create some. It might be an interesting race. I'll see how the April one looks, and maybe I'll go to the one in November, or depending on if I'm in a random town. I mean, I was recently in Los Angeles for a few days. If they'd had a NASCAR race there, I might have gone to that. I see all you guys sending me messages. I'm sorry I haven't been joining. I'm getting like a dozen messages of party invites and whatnot. So I'm not going to join at the moment, but I'll join maybe later. Other days when I'm not doing this, I'd be open to racing with people. I saw Kyle Larson's Credit One Bank car. It looks okay. I mean, it's not. It looks all right. I still like his Target car more, but you know. What's the best and worst track in NASCAR? That is a very good question. Me personally, I think Pocono is my least favorite track. I think Pocono. It's a shame that it gets 2 races a year. I honestly don't think I think it barely deserves 1 race. I didn't even know we'd started. I'm in 5th place to start this race. That's pretty cool. Pocono, like, I don't know, it's an interesting track because it's a triangle and it's big and it's fast, but like on a restart, you'll all restart, everyone will be bunched up together, and that'll be exciting when they fan out like 5 wide on the front stretch. That's really cool. But then like 2 laps later, all of a sudden, well, screw me then. Oh yeah. Oh, yep. Just push me to the finish line. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. Oh yeah. Well, we're off to a great start.
There's a wreck in turn 2.
So much for my 5th place finish. Anyway, so yeah, Pocono. Yeah, I mean after a restart, 3 laps later, it's, you know, the leader's got a 4-second lead, and then it's another 6 seconds back to 3rd place. They get so spaced out. It's not fun. My favorite track, the best track in my opinion in NASCAR, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a lame answer, is honestly I think it's Bristol. Richmond is a close one. I would even argue Daytona at times. Daytona in the past few years has produced some actually fun races. I mean, the 2013 Daytona 500 was its lowest point. That was the most boring race I've ever watched. But since then, most of the Daytona races have been pretty good. So I honestly would put that one up there pretty close. I see that era at Austin. It was a Matt Kenseth Talladega flip reenactment. This had a little bit more carnage than that one. That was. At least this one looked like it took place in Toontown or something. Oh, Jesus.
Carlo, there's a wreck in turn 1.
This race hasn't even become fun.
Carlo.
What drivers do I think won't be good because of age soon? Well, I think honestly Matt Kenseth. I don't know if he'll just get. Oh my goodness, will get too old. But he's 44 now. He'll be 45 in March. And I don't know, he hasn't really shown any signs of slipping yet, so I'd give him at least a couple more years of being good. I mean, Mark Martin was still competitive into his 50s, so, you know, I think Kenseth is closer to that.
I don't really see any drivers these days just like becoming bad because they get old. Honestly, like I mean, in NASCAR these days, especially if Carl Edwards is retiring at 37, you're not going to see very many drivers race up into their 50s and whatnot anymore. So, oh, I mean, there's like a party down there on the apron, and this guy left the party early. Thanks for getting in my way.
Clear low. Car low.
I'm not trying to ignore you, NASCAR fan one. I'm sorry. I only can see about 4 or 5 comments at a time, and I'm getting a bunch of random comments. I'm just trying to pick the ones that catch my eye right away.
Stay low. Still there.
So I apologize if any of you think I'm ignoring you. I'm just literally answering the basically what the best questions are, the ones I have the best answer for right away.
Clear high.
Yeah, I know Carl didn't retire because he's old, but he did retire partially saying health is an issue. And when you get old, it's health that becomes more of a concern. I mean, when you're older, you're not typically in quite as good a shape. You're not able to, stay fully focused or fully, fresh for a whole 500-mile race anymore. I don't know.
Car low.
My favorite paint scheme, if you're talking about like in history, like ever, that's a really tough one. I don't know if I can answer that. But my favorite paint scheme I've seen for next season so far, and it sounds like I'm biased, but I'm honestly saying I think it's the truth, is Matt Kenseth's DeWalt car. I think in my most recent video where I was walking around my dorm room, I think it was my wallpaper. So you can look at it there or just Google it probably. It's a pretty nice black and yellow. Like a kind of like got a racing stripe sort of. It's a cool looking car. I'm really excited for that one. How much has YouTube affected my life? A ton, honestly. I mean, I started making videos. I started making like little videos when I was in 6th grade. I was like 12 years old. I had a little dinky camera, the equivalent of like an iPhone 3 camera, so not very good at all. And it was really fun, honestly, to just make videos. And so then when I think by the time I was like in 8th grade, I was like 14, I think. No, I was about to turn 14. I was like 13 and a half. I started uploading to YouTube. Didn't get very many views at all, but then when I started doing some NASCAR videos, that's when the views started to show up. And I'll be honest. Oh, hey, Nick. Hey, I didn't know you were subscribed to me. Sorry, totally off topic. I'll try not to mess up, Nick. But yeah, ever since I started doing NASCAR videos, it's been really cool to see all the support that I've gotten the last however many years it's been now, almost 5, or it's been like 5 in a lot of ways. Jeez, it's 2017. Oh my God, it's been 5. I gotta do something else. My goodness, this is long. My goodness. But yeah, I mean, it started. I was doing NASCAR stop motions primarily. I still do that sometimes, but then it's branched off into other little short films, animated stuff. Some of my other NASCAR shows, like Out of the Groove, was cool. So it's become a very important part of my life, honestly, because if y'all don't know, I'm at college studying film and TV. So my goal is to, get to make movies or TV shows or something like that one day in the future. And this has been some great experience. So I wouldn't call myself a celebrity. I've been recognized in public, I think, 4 times, and they've all been at racetracks. Maybe 5. Was it 5? I think 4 for sure that I can think of off the top of my head. So I've been recognized 5 times in or 4 times in public, and they've all been I think they've all been at Texas Motor Speedway, actually. So I'm not I wouldn't call myself a celebrity. I hope to do more NASCAR parodies as soon as possible. I had one that I started writing the other day, but again, in college, I usually it would have to be a short episode, so I was having a hard time trying to keep something short and something at a decent scale, because when I let my imagination run wild and stuff, I start to make something crazy huge, like the Star Wars ones I did a couple months ago. And that was, as fun as it was, and as pleased as I was when it came out, that was a lot of work. But I'm hoping to do another NASCAR parody, hopefully before the Daytona 500. So hopefully
Clear high.
I'll look forward to that, and I mean, I'll have more updates and stuff as I get further along. I'm working on a few other little projects this year, and the second semester just started, so I'm trying to keep up with schoolwork, you know, like a responsible student should, I suppose. I cannot answer how many more Double Cup Series seasons there are going to be. I'm planning to do Season 8 over the summer, so there's that. I don't know how many there are going to be after that, but we'll have to find out. I have been to a Monster Jam in Houston, Texas once. It was like 8 or 9 years ago. I think I was like 10, I think, when I went. And I went with one of my friends and his dad who had extra tickets, and it was pretty neat. I'm not like a big monster truck fan or anything. I know like who Gravedigger is. I mean, that's a pretty famous one, but I just remember it was a cool experience for sure. It was different. I think I was like 10 or so, so I'd been to a couple NASCAR races at that point, but I'd never really, you know, I wasn't super caught up into the world of motorsports and you know, I don't know. Is Monster Jam a motorsport? Is that what that would count? I don't know. Is that what that would count as, or is it just more of a show? I don't even know. I don't remember very much about it. But I have been to it once, and it was at Reliant Stadium in Houston, which is where the Texans play. I don't know who the Gravedigger driver is. I just know the car, and I know, or the truck, and I know what it looks like. I don't know. I literally don't know anything about it. I'm trying to get a top 10. I'm actually in 5th place. I'm doing okay. I don't even know what track is this. Is this Atlanta? I don't even know. I don't even pay attention to what track this is. I just am like, oh, it's an oval. I think it's Atlanta, right? Yeah, it's Atlanta. Okay.
Carlo.
Who is my least favorite driver? That is a very good question. If we're gonna talk, actually no. If we're gonna talk, it's probably not even like. Like I've said in like Out of the Groove and stuff, I don't hate or anything like any of the drivers. I disagree with the way they. Oh my God! Well, that guy right there is my new least favorite driver. What is he doing? No, but in all case, probably my least favorite driver. And I know I'm not gonna ruffle that many feathers, but I'll ruffle some feathers here. Ooh, go fly! Is probably Brad Keselowski. Just because, I don't know, he's talented, but he's had enough run-ins with Kenseth, and even last season he made a couple kind of bonehead moves to cost Kenseth some spots, so I'm not a big Keselowski fan, just gotta say it, but I think most of y'all probably knew that, at least to some extent. How many subscribers do I think I'll have by the end of 2017? I don't know, hopefully 5 million, so tell your friends, kids. Probably not, realistically speaking, I have no idea. My least favorite track, I mentioned a second ago, is probably Pocono. I've never been to the track. The only racetracks I've been to in person are, like, to see a race at, actually, are Daytona, Texas, and Indianapolis. And Indianapolis, that's another one. Pocono is probably my least favorite, just because the races on TV are boring enough to watch. Hey, I got a top 10, 9th place. There we go. But Indianapolis, I went there to see the Brickyard 400 in 2007, so that was a long time ago. But I just remember personally thinking, it's historic and everything, I get it, it's a cool track in that sense, but actually watching the race, like watching the cars go around and all that, isn't that exciting? Isn't that great? You don't get a great viewage point. I was sitting on the front stretch a little bit before you get to the bricks, you know? So, it's alright. It was alright, but not my favorite. Kansas Speedway, it's honestly, it's probably middle of the road in terms of, as, like, favorite tracks. It is a mile and a half, so it's kind of generic, but Kansas did a thing. I remember. I mean, it's still the same way, but they've had with the progressive banking that kind of separates themselves from Atlanta and Texas and Charlotte, so it makes it a little bit more interesting. My favorite car maker for NASCAR, I kind of just have to go with whoever Kenseth drives for. For the longest time, though, I still really like Ford, honestly. I think Ford, if I got a car, I'd look at Fords or Toyotas. I do like Ford. I like all the car manufacturers. They're all fine, you know. I shouldn't answer that question. I don't have a strong preference. Jimmy Johnson's 7th championship. You know, I was disappointed it wasn't Kenseth, and I was honestly disappointed it wasn't Edwards. But Jimmy Johnson, you gotta admit, the guy's impressive. He's a legend, a living legend at this point. I've always Jimmy Johnson as a person, I think he's all right. I'm not a big fan of Chad Knaus. I think he's kind of like the Bill Belichick of racing, kind of skirts the edge between cheating and not cheating sometimes, but in general he's very talented, you know. I like Fords. There's nothing wrong with Fords. My family's never owned a Ford that I know of. At least not when I've been alive. I don't think any of my family's cars have been a Ford. I drove for it while I was in high school. It was my dad's car and then became mine for a couple of years. And now I think my sister's actually driving it since I'm not home right now. I drove a Honda Element, which y'all have seen in some videos. It's that blue like box-shaped car. When it became my car, I stuck a ton of stickers on it, and I always would joke when people would ask me, "Oh, is that your car?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, you can tell I'm a NASCAR fan because it's got a billion stickers all over it." I would have, you know, mainly sports stickers. I have Kansas stickers, Astros, Rockets. You know, I'm from Houston, all Houston sports. I had a couple other fun things. I had a Batman sticker on there. I had a from Infamous Second Son, had a sticker from there. Super Bowl picks, that's a good one. Honestly, I think of all 4 teams left, the Patriots, the Packers, the Falcons, and the and the Steelers, I think they all have a good shot. I think the Patriots are going to be tough to beat for the Steelers, but the Steelers are a hot team coming in the AFC. I'd give them a good shot. I still think it's going to be Patriots. And then in the NFC, as good as Matt Ryan's been this year, Aaron Rodgers, that guy, he is something else. So that's gonna be. I'm a pretty casual football fan. Like I root for a couple different teams here and there, but I don't get super into it. But I'm going to be watching both those games this weekend because I think those are gonna be some fun games, especially the Falcons Packers game. That will be exciting. Smitty, I'm glad Tide's with him. I haven't seen, they never really like publicly announced that Tide is going to be Kansas like primary sponsor for a bunch of races, but like ever since they did the the throwback weekend at Darlington, and then he and all the photo shoots and all the interviews I've seen this year, he's got Tide on his uniform and stuff, and he's mentioned them in interviews and stuff, so I'm like, okay, that must be his other primary sponsor, but I haven't seen the car yet. But, I don't know, it's bright orange and yellow. It'll stand out for sure. And I think it'll match his DeWalt car pretty well. I saw a question. Shoot, wait, what did it say? There was this question I saw a second ago that I thought was interesting to answer, but I totally forgot. Oh, it was when did I start watching NASCAR? And I think I've answered this in a video. If not, I always intended to. I started watching NASCAR around like 2004 because I was like 6 or 7 years old and I liked Hot Wheels cars, and so I was like, oh, racing, race cars are fun, woohoo. And then when I like turned on the TV one day and I saw a race, I can't remember what track it was at. All I remember was Dale Earnhardt Jr. won the race, and I remember the next like day in school I was like playing around with like a toy car like at recess, and I was pretending it was the 8 car. I didn't know his name. I just remember it was like, oh, the red number 8 car is winning the race or something like that. And I remember playing with it and like and I was like in first grade or something. And so then I started, it wasn't until like 2005 that I started watching races actually regularly, and I learned who Matt Kenseth was, and I became a fan of his. Yeah. Who's my favorite old-time driver? I've never even given that any thought, because I didn't watch racing, like I said, until like 2004, and I couldn't answer that. I don't even know more than probably 10 or 15 drivers from like the 70s, 80s, 90s. I mean, Dale Earnhardt, everyone loves Dale Earnhardt. I feel like he would have been really fun to root for, not just because he wins a lot, but he's just a big personality. But I don't know. Oh, cats or dogs? I'm gonna have to go with dogs. I like cats okay, but I am slightly allergic. Whenever I'm at a friend's house and they have a cat, cats are fun to mess with and play around with and stuff, but if I'm around a cat too long, I start to have a runny nose, and it gets to be a disaster. Although my dog's pretty obnoxious, so I can see why people would find dogs annoying too. Where's that first place car? I'm coming for the lead. I'm coming for the lead, everybody. I think it was 2004 when all I remember it's a weird thing. Yeah, I know y'all think about like stuff that just suddenly is like stuck in your brain for no real reason. It just is. I remember from whatever race it was, and I'm pretty sure Dale Jr. won the race. I just remember sitting there watching, and I think Dale Jr. like made a pass on Jeff Gordon. It was a really routine-looking pass. Like he just kind of went to the inside and went around him nice and easy. And I just remember my dad sitting next to me, and he just turns and he's kind of just like under his breath just goes, "Oh man, they make it look so easy." Like, he was super impressed with the fact that they were making passes. I mean, his routine, like, now as a fan that I've watched for a long time, I'm looking at, like, oh, I see passes like that a billion times a race. But then, like, the way I just remember my dad, they're going like 170, 180, and he's just like, wow, they make that look so easy. I still remember that to this day, so that's a weird, like, envisionment to have stuck in my brain. Sly Cooper Adventure Time, Sly Cooper. It's my favorite video game series of all time. Nostalgic regions. I never watched that much Adventure Time. I was always more of a regular show person, which, as some of y'all probably know, came to a very unfortunate end this last week. Very emotional, very emotional. That show is what got me into, like, doing animation primarily. Man, finished second. I was so close. And it was disappointing to see it end, but it was a great finale. So, and you like cartoons. People think I think some people would think it's weird that a 19-year-old in college likes watching cartoons, and I don't like watching that many cartoons. Like I said, I like regular show, but that is a classic TV show that I think if I have kids someday, I will show them that show. Of course, I've heard of Richard Petty, but I feel like it'd be lame if I said, "Oh, Richard Petty's my favorite driver from the olden days." Like, you know, he's a lot of people's probably favorite driver. Ooh, what's my favorite NASCAR parody I've done? I hate to like talk myself up, like, oh, let's talk about stuff I've done that's so great, but I was really pleased with how the Star Wars parodies came out, just because, like I said, those took so much work, and the fact that they actually came out pretty well, I was very, very, very happy about. But also, the second Christmas one I did with the Nutcracker, and Kyle Larson tries to take Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon to the North Pole to prove to them that Santa Claus is real. That was a fun episode. Because I thought the story came out good. Oh, geez, Bristol Motor Speedway. I see you, Beastie Boy. I'm sorry, Beastie Boy 88. My favorite DoubleEdud Cup Series season, probably season 7. Honestly, I felt like I put more care into each race in season 7. Oh, there's a question I saw a second ago, but I missed it. Crap, where was it? Oh, forget it. I don't know how to answer the question, how would I make the chase if I could make the rules, because I feel like that's a very detailed thing. I like the chase for the most part how it is. The only thing I really don't like, but I don't know how they'd change it, is I'm not a huge fan of the whole like, oh, you win and you're in automatically, because I just like, okay, if you win the Daytona 500, you can take the rest of the year off pretty much. You're in the chase, and I don't know that I'm a big fan of that. I wish they made it a little bit, it wasn't as easy to just lock yourself in. My favorite driver has always been Matt Kenseth. I mean, for maybe a week, it was Dale Earnhardt Jr. because, like I said, the first race I saw, I think he won, and that made me think, oh, he's so good. But I found out, and I know I've mentioned this before, the way I found out, the way I chose Matt Kenseth as my favorite driver was around that same time that I first started watching some of the races. I then my family went to Atlanta to visit some cousins of mine, and then one of my mom's old friends from high school also lived there, so I remember going to visit her, and she just so happened to be one of Matt Kenseth's cousins. So when I walked into her house, I saw like they had I think it was in 2004, so it was the year after Kenseth won the championship. She had like a newspaper clipping on her fridge that was a picture of Kenseth holding the trophy, and I recognized it. I'm like, oh, that's clearly a NASCAR driver. And so I probably asked like, oh, who's that? And that's when she explained to me, oh, that's Matt Kenseth, and I was like, oh, cool. And so then when I went home and started playing NASCAR Thunder, I started playing as Matt Kenseth. And once I started watching more races and realized that he was actually pretty decent, I was like, all right, he is my favorite driver. And this is my least favorite track. Why? Well, gonna ride around for a little bit. Yes, Jonah Shaw, they should do a race at Eldora. I don't know how they'd be able to like do it and make money. Maybe they should pick an off week or something like that and like do it as like an all-star race, but Eldora should host a NASCAR Cup race. I want to see these big name, stuck-up Cup drivers get down and dirty. Favorite race of 2016? Oh, I remember really thinking the Richmond race It was the last race of the regular season. I'm totally blanking on why I thought that was such a great race. Oh, I remember, because it was I can't remember who won. I think Hamlin won that race. It was just it was a thrilling race. They had a couple crazy late restarts where guys were trying to fight to get in or get out. You know, they had the drama between Newman and Tony Stewart. When you know, Stewart just took him out for whatever reason, took them both out, and took out Edwards, and they had some big wrecks for a Richmond race. That was one of my favorite races. That's the first one that stands out to me, but I'm sure there are other good races. 2016 was a decent year. I'd put William Byron in if I had his car. What am I doing? I'm reading the chat so much I haven't even been paying attention to the track. When Kenseth retires, I'll probably I like Eric Jones. I liked him in the Xfinity series, so, and he's a Gibbs driver, so I'll probably, and he has the same name as me, and he's like almost the same. He's like a year older than me, so it's kind of weird. It was like, speaking of Adventure Time earlier, I was at a thing in Austin, where I live now, a few months ago, and Jeremy Shada, the voice of Finn from Adventure Time, just happened to be there, and I was like, oh, and so I like walk up to him and I was like, hey, like, I recognized the name because I'm a nerd about voice actors. I know people's names, and so I ended up. It was weird because he's literally like the same age as me. I think he's 19 as well, and it was really awkward because he's sitting there. He was sitting in like a chair, dolled up completely in makeup, like powdered face. Like he probably had a photo shoot to go to afterwards because I think he's also an on-camera actor now, and I went up and like just had a brief conversation with him, like, oh hey, I like Adventure Time. It's a cool show. It's gonna be fun. And I don't know, that was totally off topic. I don't know what got me onto that topic, but it was just a funny story. I was sitting there talking about like celebrity people in a sense, like people that are famous that I like am fans of, that are like the same age as me, and I guess that just crossed my mind. I don't know who my favorite Xfinity driver is. Honestly, it was Eric Jones until now that he's in the Cup Series. I guess he doesn't count. I don't even know who's in the Xfinity Series anymore this year. William Byron, I know a lot of people are behind him. A lot of people think he's gonna have a really good year, and he probably will. But I don't even know. No, I've never been to an ARCA race, no K&N Series race. I've only ever been to Sprint Cup races. So, yeah. It's hard being in Houston because there's really no race like NASCAR tracks really anywhere close these days. I gotta go like 4 hours north up to Fort Worth to get to Texas Motor Speedway. I like Ryan Reed. I like Roush Fenway in general. Like, I like their drivers for the most part. Ryan Reed seems pretty solid. What am I excited for in the 2017 Cup Series? I'm honestly excited to see. I'm honestly excited to see if Suarez and Jones really turn out to be good. I'll stop streaming soon. The Walrus Colony channel. What a name! What kind of name is that? But I know it's been a long stream. It's been almost an hour now. I'm just hanging out. You guys don't have to stay if you don't want to stay, but I'll probably get out of here before too long. My roommate would probably come back and be like, "Who are you talking to?" Hi, Andres Lopez. I'll put Suarez in the parodies. I'll put a lot of guys in the parodies when they start racing. I think Matt DiBenedetto will be good if he's ever on a good team. I think that's half the battle in NASCAR. Awesome potatoes. Oh, you want to hear the Larson voice? Oh boy.
Let's see. Well, this is the best I can do right now. Zippity-doo-dah.
There you go. Yeah. Every now and then I accidentally talk like that in public, just for a brief instant, and since I'm 6'7", I'm kind of a big looking dude in a lot of cases, I usually terrify anyone sitting or standing anywhere near me. So I try not to let that slip out. I used to be able to do it better, but puberty, am I right? I guess I hit puberty when I was 18.
Still there?
I hit my growth spurt when I was 14, I hit puberty when I was 18, and I think that's just kind of backwards, right? Wow, a full lap almost and no
Slow
catastrophic
down.
wrecks.
Clear
We
high.
might have a winner this time.
Car low.
My Dale Jr. voice is basically just my regular voice, but with a little bit of like, just like kind of stereotypical Southern twang to it. And sometimes I get a little higher pitched, like I get out here. When I do any of the voices, I don't like, I don't really like try to imitate the drivers themselves. That'd be too difficult. I try to like just kind of give them caricatures in a sense. And so for Junior, I give him that like Southern accent. That's not that hard for me to do. I am from Texas, but you know, I exaggerate it a little bit. The reason I made Larson have the really high-pitched, wacky voice is just, I don't remember why I did that. I think, because if y'all know, y'all watch, most of y'all see my NASCAR parodies. Y'all know that I voice, wow, I suck at driving. Y'all know I voice like 80% of the characters in that show, mainly because, I don't know, I don't know very many people that would want to do that. I don't know very many actor friends either. But I think Larson, when I first started making the parodies like 2 years ago, he was a rookie. And Kyle Larson, like honestly, I mean nowadays he's got like a kid. I think he's married, right? Or I don't know what he is. He's got like a beard sometimes, and some days it looks like he's got like a Fu Manchu or something going on. I don't know. Whoa, that was a weird wreck. I kind of just figured, okay, I'll make him look, at the time I was like, oh, I'll just make him sound really young. And I wanted it to sound different from all the other drivers. And I wanted to be able to go, yee! Which I can't really do as any other characters. It's kind of out of context. I need to stop looking at the chat for a second so I can actually run pretty well.
Still there. All clear. Here you go.
I'm actually, that's the one good thing about Carl Edwards retiring. He was my least favorite character in my NASCAR parodies, and that's nothing good. It was just, I didn't have anything for him to do. His voice was literally just my normal voice, and like his character was always just kind of, oh, I'm just here, just chilling, just hanging out. He wasn't really, I never could figure out anything exciting to do with him. So that is the one good thing about him being retiring.
Clear high.
I'll do a couple voices here. Let me think. Hold on. I know y'all are all giving. Has Matt Kenseth ever asked for my autograph? No. If that day ever comes, I might cry because that would be pretty hilarious. But no, I'll do some voices. Let's think. I got a 5th place finish. I can celebrate for a second. Let's see. Kyle Busch. I just like talk like this a lot for the most part. Sometimes I have to hold my nose to get up there really high. And it's kind of the same with Brad Keselowski. I slur my words a little bit more for Brad Keselowski. I would not do a Daniel Suarez voice. That would sound very offensive, probably. It would not work. It would. I'd find someone else to do that one. I could probably find somebody to do a good Suarez. Yep. Kyle Busch is basically a parody of Sonic the Hedgehog. That's a good one. That's a good way of phrasing it. Yeah, that's right. When I did that Jeff Gordon bit, that was just imitating Waluigi from Mario Kart, basically. I don't know what I'd do for Eric Jones. Maybe I wouldn't even do it. Maybe I'd have somebody else do it. Newman, I barely give him any lines because, again, when I'm writing my NASCAR parodies, the first thing I come up with, is there any modern trend going on in NASCAR that would be funny to joke about, you know? And that's how I'll start writing the thing. And then when I'm trying to decide what characters I'm going to use, half the time it comes down to what voices do I think I can do best. And so Clint Boyer has a good voice and he's a funny character. Dale Jr., Kyle Busch, Danica, you know, that's why you see those guys a lot. Not necessarily because I think they're the best drivers or they're always the best for the stuff, but just because they have the best, I feel like they have the best voices when they go together and they're able to, it's the funniest. That's just where I come, that's what I think about. My favorite parody character is Tony Stewart, which is a shame that he's gone. He's retired now. I'll have to find someone new to like. I can't do Danica's voice. I get other people to do Danica's voice. My favorite throwback from 2016. There was a few pretty good ones. I liked, if we're just talking about like paint schemes themselves, I liked Tony Stewart's Coca-Cola car, looked pretty cool, and I liked Kyle Busch's green Interstate Battery throwback. I liked Kenseth's Tide car, that was pretty neat. I'm trying to remember now. It's been a while. I don't remember all the throwback cars. They did a good job. They did a good job marketing that whole weekend. I thought that was a really, really well done. Oh yeah, I am at Darlington now. That's a good point. Thanks for pointing that out. I didn't even notice. I'm so out of it right now. The worst throwback scheme was Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s. I do remember that. It was that like blue. It was like that mainly white car with some blue trim here and there, and like orange, like awkward, like clay-looking orange. It was just, I don't know. It was an ugly car. I get that it's a throwback, and it was probably a throwback to something really historic. I think it was like a throwback to a Darrell Waltrip car or something, you know. But it was just an ugly car. It should have been burned. They should have kept that back in the 70s or wherever it came from. Some things are better left buried. Best underrated driver. I don't know. Underrated drivers, it's sometimes tough to pick because most of these underrated drivers are driving for teams that just don't have very good race cars, so it's hard to tell how good they are. I still think Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has potential, but honestly, I'm starting to fade on that because I do think Roush Fenway, they're not that good, but I think they're better than he makes them look, so that's a tough one. I don't know if I'd pick him, but geez, I don't know. Best underrated driver. I always thought David Reagan was pretty good, actually. When he was with Roush in the 6 car, he actually would compete for wins every now. He won a Daytona, I remember, in I think 2011, and then even at Front Row Motorsports, he won at Talladega. So he's at least he knows how to keep his nose clean at plate tracks, to say the least. I think I think a lot of people forget about him because he's just been in lousy cars the last few years. He hasn't really been able to compete, but I think he's a decent driver. Houston represent. I don't live in Houston at the moment because I'm at school in Austin, but I'm still a Houstonian at heart. I watched the Rockets game tonight get beat up by the Warriors, but you know, everyone gets beat up by the Warriors these days. We beat them earlier this season, so I'll take that as a small victory. I don't know that much about Landon Castle. I'm not like, I don't know, because he's another driver. He's never been on a very good team. I hear a lot about him. I think he's a decent driver. Again, it just comes down to what kind of cars you got. Because we've seen Clint Bowyer, in my opinion, is an above-average driver. I mean, like we saw when he was at MWR, he'd compete for wins, compete for championships even. But then the moment he got switched to H. Scott Motorsports, he's barely a 30th place car. And I don't think Clint Bowyer just forgot how to drive. I think it was mostly that team. So it's sometimes hard to tell when the team is just really bad or if the driver just doesn't really know what he's doing. Sometimes you can tell it's a mix, but most of the time it's one or the other. If I could go to 3 tracks right now, the 3 tracks that are on my bucket list is Bristol Motor Speedway, number 1. I definitely want to go see a Bristol race sooner rather than later. Richmond would be fun, and those are both short tracks, primarily because I've never been to a short track race. Like I said earlier, I've been to Texas a bunch of times, which is kind of a big track, and I've been to Daytona and Indianapolis, which are 2 of the biggest tracks. So I've never been to a short track, so I'd want to go to Richmond, Bristol, and it sounds lame because it's kind of just an average track, but I kind of want to go to Charlotte. I think Charlotte would be cool. It looks like the yellow walls and just the fact that it is kind of the home of NASCAR right now. I think that just to spend a weekend in Charlotte so I can go see like the Hall of Fame and stuff and maybe visit some of the team shops or wherever, I think that would be and then go see the race. I think that would be a fun one to go to. I've never been to. I've driven past Las Vegas Motor Speedway a few years ago. My family was in Las Vegas and we drove right by the track. I like Las Vegas, all right. It's a solid racetrack. My favorite mile-and-a-half track is Texas Motor Speedway, just because I've been there a lot, and I think they do a great job of hosting race weekends. If we're going to talk about racing themselves, it usually creates some pretty good races. Mile-and-a-halves in general aren't known for being having super exciting finishes, but I think Texas has consistently been a fun track, and I've been there enough in person to know that they do a really good job of just managing their facility. It's fun. It's a good place for fans to go, even when you have to sit through 5 hours of rain, which I'm glad they're restructuring the track to make that never happen again, because that was pretty ridiculous. Whew. My favorite plate track, Daytona probably. Just because Talladega is cool because it's huge and it's like, you know, it's got some pretty fun races and stuff in the past as well. But it's too wide, I think. Especially recently, these drivers have gotten so good. You don't see that much shakeup these days. I think Daytona it's a more narrow racetrack. It's a little bit more treacherous. You know, the drivers probably don't like that, but I like that one a little bit more. Y'all want me to do the Jimmy Johnson voice? The Jimmy Johnson voice is just me trying to sound very polite. I just talk like this, and I try to enunciate all my words perfectly. And then the reason I do his voice like that is just because, I don't know, I guess my joke in the parodies is that Jimmy Johnson's really polished and wealthy and just very dapper because he's won so much. He probably makes more money than any of these other drivers, except maybe Junior because of all the endorsements. You know, he's just a very... and his interviews, you know what I'm talking about. When you hear Jimmy Johnson talk, he's kind of a bland interview, honestly. He kind of says the same things, you know. But, yeah. Tony Stewart's voice changed a lot in the past. For a while, he was supposed to be like Grunkle Stan from Gravity Falls. Then he turned into like Rick from Rick and Morty. In the end, he's always just sounded kind of like this. I'm not doing any more voices, guys. I don't like to toot my own horn, so to say. I'll probably do 1 or 2 more races, and then I'm probably going to end this stream because it's been over an hour. And it's been fun. I didn't realize, I didn't think this would go so well. If y'all want, I'll do this again somewhat soon. I'll maybe send something out on Twitter, whatever, kind of alert people to it. But maybe I'll do it again, at least since it seems to be working okay right now. I'll try to see if I can get my other mic to work more consistently, because I think it's a better mic. It's probably better quality than what y'all hear right now. But I'll try to do that. So follow me on Twitter at Dex Racing if you want up-to-date updates. That's my little plug. Just had to say it right there. Favorite Truck Series driver? I keep seeing a couple of you guys ask me that. I don't even know. I don't keep up with the Truck Series well at all. I mean, I keep up with the Cup Series, obviously. I keep up with a decent amount of the Xfinity. What the heck? What on earth? What just happened? I was in like 3rd place, and all of a sudden my car just like stopped, and I got stampeded like Mufasa in The Lion King. Maybe that's kind of sad, actually. That was a bad analogy, but that was worse than anything. That was a disaster. Oh my goodness. I'm just like holding down the throttle and trying to point like left. Rusting Gray, I never bought a Boyer die cast. Why didn't I? Well, okay, I had his one from 2013. That's the one I've always used because I got that one when it came out and everything. It was cool. And then what was it? And then MWR had their like issues after 2013 with, you know, sponsorship and whatnot. And I think they did release a car for him in 2014, but it was later in the year, and at that point, again, I just like stopped. I don't remember why. I just never got that one. And then when he switched to H. Scott Motorsports, I don't even think they made a car. I know they did. Okay, I think they did make a car for him, but since I've been doing Double E Cup Series the last few months, I never went ahead and got it. But I will get a Clint Boyer. I'll definitely get his 14 car. You know, Stewart House Racing will make sure those get created for sure. Yeah, the Mufasa joke was a little dark. You know, got some dark humor on this channel for mature audiences only.
5 laps to go.
Is the yellow wall at Charlotte going to become green? I don't know. Is it? If it is, then I hope it doesn't, because I like the yellow more. That's true. I guess it has it. Are the walls yellow because of Sprint? Was that always the reason? I didn't know that. If that is the reason, then shoot, I like the yellow walls. The green walls won't look nearly as cool, if you ask me, but maybe they will.
Car high. You're all clear. That was a great lap. There's a wreck in turn 2.
Wow, that was a disaster. It was a train wreck. I hope they keep it yellow.
2 to go.
Keep it mellow, keep it yellow. I would prefer... Jesus Christ. Oh, my Lord. Oh, it's happening again. Oh. I have about 30 friend requests to respond to when I finish this stream.
All clear. Our radiator's looking pretty bad.
Our radiator's looking pretty bad, huh? Have you seen the race itself? If they change the wall at Charlotte, I just don't want them to make it green. I don't know, like, people ask me what my favorite color is. I don't know. I don't never really have a set favorite color, but it's never green. I don't know why. I'm just not a big fan of the color green. So I don't really want that to change. Yellow's always felt like a good NASCAR color, but I guess maybe that's just because of Sprint. It's brainwashed me into thinking that's a NASCAR color. I plan on getting all the cars pretty much. I mean, at least 20, 25 of them for this year. All right, let's see. This is probably gonna be my last race, so I'll try to have a good finish for you peoples. It depends on the track, though. Oh, Charlotte, speak of the devil. Alrighty. I do have a Lightning McQueen car, actually. He's had cameos in some NASCAR parodies, but I've never actually had him in a full episode. I know, obviously, I saw some of y'all ask about Cars 3. That's a movie. That's gonna happen. I'm always hesitant to make stuff with Disney characters just because it's Disney and they're like a huge corporation. If I ever were to like have a video go viral that had Disney characters in it, I don't know if I want to have to answer to them. I love Disney, but probably not their legal department. I don't know how that would work. I don't think they'd care, but you never know. Favorite NASCAR game? I said earlier, it was... The one I probably played the most was NASCAR 07, but probably my favorite was NASCAR the game 2011. Probably my favorite one. The motorsports guy. I don't know if Sonoma will be in Season 8, because here's the thing. Honestly, in hindsight, I probably should have made a Sonoma racetrack 2 years ago. Because I made that Texas track that took a lot of work, made that looked pretty good. Then I made a Watkins Glen track, which took almost as much work, looked pretty good. And at the time I thought, that's enough. That's a lot of work. I'm not going to do any more. And then I kind of just thought, that was around the time I thought I was going to stop doing Double E Cup Series around Season 4, Season 5. I just kind of thought, oh, I'll stop around then, so I don't need to make a Sonoma. I'm never going to do Sonoma. And then, you know, obviously since then, I'm like, no, I'll keep doing it. And now I'm like, oh, I should probably do a Sonoma race. That'd be fun, but I'd have to build the track, and that would be a ton of work. And so, if I have the time, and if I somehow end up having the space... I'm in the lead! Ladies and gentlemen, I'm in the lead! I'm getting out of here! Okay, sorry. To finish answering the question, Sonoma, I don't know if it'll be in Season 8. I'll try to add a road course. I'll put like 1 or 2 road courses in the season for sure, but Sonoma itself... I feel if I make Sonoma, I want to make it look really, really good. And to do that, it'll take a lot of work and a lot of time. And unfortunately, time is not something I have very much of. This jack nugget just cut me completely, just rammed into the back of me, and it worked for him. I'm not very good at Watkins Glen, so that's probably half of it. I did play NASCAR Unleashed for about a week and a half. And the guy, the commentator in NASCAR Unleashed, the one who like gives you like instructions like, oh, good job, and stuff like that, is my least favorite. I don't know his name, but I should look it up. Whoever he is officially my least favorite voice actor or voice performance in a game or a movie or a show or anything that I've ever heard. And it's not even his fault. Half of it is like the dialogue he would say. It was so cheesy, so awkward. I just hated all of it. I'm actually holding on to the lead, but I got these two psychopaths behind me trying to bash my rear bumper in to get this lead. I suck at this game, oh my god. And I keep reading the chat, so I'm like getting distracted. I'm looking from screen to screen. This guy's gonna run over me. I sense it. Oh, he actually didn't. He's racing me clean, and it cost him. He spun out. There we go. All right, now I got David Reagan in my rear view. The game was kind of fun. I just been the voice guy. I need to go back and look. I haven't played that game in years. I'd have to like go look. I'd feel like I need to go look up gameplay of that again. I need to remind myself of some of the cheesy things he would say. It was pretty great.
Great job.
Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. This hour and 20-minute stream has all been worth it. Finally got a W. Just hand me the W's, ladies and gentlemen. To be fair, I wasn't even looking at the laps. I didn't realize it was only a two-lap race, however long that was. That's pretty great. So, wow. Then that's my least favorite part of this game, is it doesn't let you do burnouts at the end. Well, some of the old games let you do burnouts after you win a race. Thanks, Alex. Ooh. And of all places to win a race, it would be Watkins Glen, the place that Kenseth is lucky to get a top 10 at, honestly. So, alright, gotta win. I guess I'm pretty much gonna start wrapping it up. If you all have any more questions, I'll answer a few more things really quick, but then I'm gonna go ahead and get off. But like I said before, follow me on Twitter, @DexRacing. All those links I think are in the description of this, and they're on my other videos and stuff too. I'll let y'all know when I do this again. I'll probably do it pretty soon. I don't know, maybe I'll have time this weekend. This is kind of fun. I mean, I don't know if I'll play this game every time, because I can only put up with so much NASCAR Heat Evolution, but I'll play something. Let me look under my desk, look in my drawer here. I got a lot of games that I could play, so we'll see what happens. I might do a race at Kentucky. That'd be a good one to do. I don't think did I do it? No, I've never done Kentucky, I don't think. I'll have to do that. It's too early to say who's going to win the championship this year. I mean, I think the usual suspects are going to be up there. Favorite team, Awesome Potatoes? What team are you referring to? Like football, NASCAR, baseball, basketball? What are we talking about here? Rick and Tyler Johnson, Rick and Morty. I referenced Rick from Rick and Morty. I don't actually watch Rick and Morty hardly ever, so I know they have season 3 coming out pretty soon or whatever, and I might have to get into that show because I've heard it's really good. But I have not actually watched it, so I could not. I couldn't even really. I've seen maybe 4 or 5 episodes, and it's funny, and like I said, I should probably get into it, but I have never. I've never gotten super duper into it. My favorite NASCAR team, it's Joe Gibbs Racing, probably. Just because I like Kenseth. I liked Edwards before he left, and I like Hamlin. I'm not a huge Kyle Busch fan. I'm kind of indifferent to Kyle Busch. But I like these other guys. I liked Roush back when I had Kenseth and Edwards and Biffle. That was probably my favorite team ever. When it was Kenseth, Edwards, and Biffle, and even David Reagan for like a year or two, I really liked Roush Fenway Racing. That was a great one. Yes, I like grilled cheese. Who doesn't like grilled cheese? How do I do NASCAR stop motion? I take one picture, move the cars about an inch, take another picture, move the cars about an inch, take another picture. And I do that approximately 12 or 1,300 times at least in a typical video. Yes, I like Kyle Larson. He's one of my favorite up-and-coming drivers. I was thrilled to see him win at Michigan. I was hoping he'd do better in the chase, but well. What are hot chips? Is that it? I'm from Texas. I don't know if I know what hot chips are. Is it just like you take a bag of potato chips and put it in the microwave, or are they? I don't know what you're referring to. My favorite cereal. I eat cereal. I don't eat cereal that often anymore, but I used to eat cereal all the time. There was a Kellogg's made. Was it Kellogg's? Oh shoot! I should go look. It's on the other side of the room. I'm not going to go get it right now. There's a s'mores cereal. It's like comes in a big bright blue box, and that was like my favorite cereal for the longest time. It was so weird. It's like graham cracker cereal with marshmallows, like you'd find in Lucky Charms, kind of, but it's like chocolatey flavored. It was great. It's amazing. Smitty, you do rule. My least favorite NASCAR team is Penske. How is grilled cheese gross, Cyberman Bill? It's cheese that's toasted and melted on bread, and you can put any type of bread you want. Out of the Groove, I'm still trying to figure out if I'm going to do Out of the Groove all season, or if I'm going to wait and do it again just in the chase. I might start doing it all season, but I'll have to figure out how much work that's going to be, because, like I said, I got a lot of other... I mean, I'm in college. I got classes. I got other videos I got to make. You know, I got stuff to study for, so... we'll see if I do that. It may be the type of thing I just do every now and then. Every week or two I'll do an episode about whatever big news is going on. Hello, Gaming King 1000. I don't have a Ty Dillon voice. I don't even really know what he sounds like in real life. I've never played Forza Motorsports because I do not have an Xbox, but that if I did have an Xbox, that would probably be the first game I would get. College is pretty decent. It's been kind of boring since I got back, but oh well. I do have Project Cars, Jacob Evanson. Maybe I'll do Project Cars every now and then. I have not played that in a long time, and I'm not that great at it, but it's fun. Mickey, my vacation was great. I assume you're referring to when I went to Disneyland a couple weeks, or last week, for a few days by myself. And I saw you there, Mickey. It was great. Hungry Gamer, my earliest NASCAR memory, I mentioned it earlier, was when I remember watching the first race ever, and I think Dale Jr. won. I'm not 100% sure, but all I remember, Dale Jr. did very well. And it was in like 2004. Yes, I like basketball. I play basketball a lot at the gym here by my dorm all the time. I'm 6'7", so I feel like I have to, or else I'd be disappointing my people. Lydia, I didn't meet Mickey Mouse. I told you that. Mickey wouldn't let me talk to him. Oh, I'm sorry, Blake. I'm sorry I didn't get to meet you. I mentioned earlier, I've met a few fans at races, but not only like 4 or 5. I've never tried iRacing. I've never even given it an attempt. I haven't even really looked it up. I know it's like a more simulator, and I know it's very popular among a lot of people, but I've never gotten into it. I don't know if I've ever answered this, Ellie Productions, but the person who gave me the inspiration to start my NASCAR Stop Motion series probably won't come at any surprise. Now, I'd always liked NASCAR forever. I'd liked making videos, you know, for whatever reason. But the first videos I saw were Affleck Cup Series, of course. You guys, all y'all probably know who I'm talking about there. And I think he'd been doing them for maybe a year or so, or I don't know how long, but he'd done a few. And I saw a couple of those, and I thought, wow, that's a cool idea. I want to do something like that. And then there's another guy who I'm totally blanking on the name. He was a guy who made really cool looking tracks. He only does like one race a year. And I saw one of his, and I was like, oh my gosh, that looks great. And so that was when I first got the idea to do a NASCAR stop motion series, and it's been pretty exciting ever since then. But yeah, I feel like that doesn't come as that big of a surprise. Hi, Kyle Bush 1 Lewis. My favorite diecast in your collection. I keep seeing that question. I haven't been ignoring you, but I've literally been sitting here trying to think what my favorite diecast is. I have no idea. That's a really tough question. Hello, Starblade. Will I do a NASCAR reenactment for a wreck? I've seen those before. It's kind of cool. I've never done it. I don't know. What would I reenact? Team Bomber Sports. I think that was the guy who I saw. I'm pretty sure that's who it was. Or Goodyear Cup Series. It was one of the two. I see you guys' comments. I can't remember which one it was. I know I've seen Goodyear Cup Series recently, and he does only do like 2 or 3 races like a year. And I've seen some of them, and he makes some pretty cool tracks, some pretty good races. But I can't remember if he's the one I saw originally that got me into it. I'll put Truex in a parody when I have an idea for it. Let me put it that way. Hi, oh my goodness, hi Foxy Plaids, whatever. I've missed your name. Starblade, I've been racing this whole time. I'm sorry, I just now stopped. I'm about to wrap this up, unfortunately. So I don't know if you just got here, but I apologize. I'll do another live stream pretty soon. I mentioned earlier. I'll tweet about it or something, and I'll let you all know when I'm getting on. Otherwise, you'll probably just see it pop up in your subscription box. Scariest NASCAR wreck, without a doubt, was Austin Dillon's Daytona thing a couple years ago. I was in Chicago when that happened, watching the race with my grandfather, who doesn't really watch NASCAR. He was just kind of watching it to be courteous, I suppose. And my dad, I think, was in there too. And when that happened, it was just whoa. And he kind of like looked at us like, "Does this happen every week?" And it was like, "No, this does not usually happen." That was amazing that he walked away like unscathed. Like I would have thought he at least like suffered a concussion or broken arm or leg or something. Like the fact that he was, I mean, as far as I could tell, unharmed, is amazing. Foxy Plays, I see ya. See ya, Douglas. Alright, well, it's about to hit an hour and a half now. I've been streaming. I don't know what time it is. Here in Texas, it's 12:20. I'm still chilling, but I'm getting pretty tired. Oh, the Matt Kenseth flip, that wasn't that scary. He wasn't that bad. I think Clint Boyer is going to do very well this year. I think he's going to have one of the biggest bounce back years. I think I give him a 50-60% chance of making the chase. Chris Buescher flip was the only kind of scary bit about that was the fact that he landed on top of, I think it was Kurt Busch at the time. But yeah. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up now for realsies. Thanks you guys so much for sticking around, listening to me, talking, asking me questions. I'll do this again in a few days or later this week, whenever I can have the time. I'll try to give some sort of heads up when I'm going to do it. In the meantime, follow me on Twitter, @DexRacing. Y'all know the drill. Look in the description. I have my Patreon that I talked about a few weeks ago. If any of y'all are willing and able to pledge any amount there, that is really awesome. I'd really appreciate that. But other than that, thanks again so much, guys. I really appreciate hanging out with you guys for the last hour and a half. I'll do this again real soon. Have a good evening.